The Russian rouble took the markets by surprise. It fell 5% on Thursday morning in just 2 hours of trading. What's going on? I'm here with Neil Buckley, the FT's East European editor. Neil, this is a very sharp decline, clearly linked to the fall in the oil price. But the pace of the fall in the ruble is outflanking the decline in the oil price. What might be going on?
I think it's a combination of factors at play. Clearly, the Russian economy is very heavily dependent on oil, but there are broader concerns about the Russian economy which are compounding the concerns and compounding the problem. One of those, of course, is that Russia is still under Western sanctions because of Ukraine, and so the combination of sanctions and falling oil prices is particularly difficult for Russia to deal with. The other thing is there are lots of concerns about the underlying health of the Russian economy, the failure over a long period of time to embrace real structural reforms and to diversify away from reliance on natural resources. And so all of those things are coming together.
2015 was actually signs of the Russian economy coming back a little bit. Is this going to stop that?
It's a good question. In 2015, really, towards the end of 2015, it looked as though the situation was manageable. We'd had a big panic at the end of 2014 when the ruble again fell very sharply. In 2015, that fall was arrested. There was a sense that the economy for the next few years could cope with oil at, say, $45 a barrel. Where it was in the latter part of last year. But this further leg down that we've seen in recent weeks has rekindled all of those concerns. And so instead of the Russian economy looking like it might just return to weak growth this year, we could be looking at a third year of recession, and with all the potential consequences that could have.
Now, what appears to have happened is that the ruble has fallen through this psychological level of 80 rubles to the dollar, and a lot of people are saying, my God, it could now go into the 90s territory. What will be going through the thought processes of the Kremlin and the Russian central bank? Will they be looking at things like FX reserves to try and support this decline? Because it's clearly, while a lot of people are factoring in a depreciating ruble, the pace at which this is falling must be worrying. Will they try and intervene?
I think it's a question of the pace and also the absolute level to which it's fallen now. There were a lot of concerns at the end of 2014 about a possible run on the ruble and run on the banks, and they managed to avoid that. The central bank shifted basically to a free float, but they avoided a broader panic, and I think they felt they'd contain the situation, and also by shifting to a free float, they'd put the economy back on a firmer footing. But now, with the ruble falling again and really getting to levels that for many Russians would have seemed unimaginable a year or two ago, the Kremlin must be thinking, well, A, there's the possibility of some kind of panic starting, and B, politically, this could be very bad for Mr. Putin, President Vladimir Putin, who in the first part of his presidency really ran on a kind of ticket of we will deliver higher living standards for Russians. And Russians have seen their living standards fall very sharply as a result of this devaluation that we've seen of the ruble over the last year or so, and fairly high inflation, and they just can't afford the things they were able to afford.
We will see what happens. Neil, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.